slick talker since a jet.
Wintertime, all the time, ooh, yeah. Look at the way that I move, swag. Disrespectful and I'm rude, okay. I had cocaine in the school.
Hey, Natsu here. So, I'm going to continue with what if Class 1A had different quirks. First things first, yesterday when I did my video about updating the channel, sorry I have to pause. Okay, yeah. So, yesterday when I did that video, I was extremely sleepy. And I forgot to say the name of the person that actually gave me the intro. On Discord, his name is Dog Tempest. So, if you see him on Discord, it's thanks to him that I have this intro. So yeah. Now, in the last part of what if Class 1A had different quirks, Deku, Bakugo, and Shoto were at Endeavor's agency, and I basically said what happened between them arriving there, and I ended it right before the patrol. Why the hell did I forget that word? Sorry. So, Deku, having practically, well, a lot of experience and power already. Bakugo, same thing. So, when they were told about the patrol night, they decided to ask if they could go on their own. Reason for that is pretty simple. Ida. They basically told Endeavor about this, and that he was probably going after Stain, and that they would like to basically go stop him. He said, "You want to go stop Stain for him? I'm not letting you do that." Which, Shoto said they don't want to stop him, Dad. They want to stop their friends. Which Endeavor basically just kind of reacted and did like, fine. If you see any villains, you have the permission to attack. But if you see the hero killer, unless he attacks you, you don't do anything to him. So, they were basically told, don't attack him. They didn't really listen. So, what happened was that Shoto, Deku, and Bakugo all left to basically go and get to Ida, each going their separate ways to basically try to cover more ground. Deku being able to move the fastest, basically, well, being able to go practically anywhere faster than anyone else, basically just jumped in the air mostly at first, to basically have the view of a bird. He was able to see Ida, but the others were already going away. So Deku basically just dropped back down, basically increasing his velocity to go down by sending pulsation with his arm up, basically pushing himself down faster. Basically arriving on the ground and absorbing all of his own kinetic energy and momentum, so it literally didn't do anything to the ground or himself, and he basically pushed all of that back and basically accelerated to run straight towards Ida. Bakugo and Shoto were basically going in different direction. Jiro is also there with Gran Torino. Compared to Deku, when she was told to stay in the transport, she stayed in there. So she's not really part of that battle, just like Shoto and Bakugo aren't really either. What they had to face was Nomus. And not quite an easy task. Well, for the Nomus. The one Bakugo faced literally got demolished. Like, he didn't stand a chance against... So, basically, let's say the Nomu Bakugo was able to face was just a normal Nomu who basically just had like something easy, just wait. Shoto fights okay, yeah. So the one Bakugo face is quite easily said in one word. Strong. The quirk that one has is literally just increased strength and speed. His body is basically superhuman. This basically just means that Bakugo had to make sure to not get touched, harmed, but didn't really have any trouble facing it. Reason for that was quite easy. Bakugo just froze him. Since he didn't have regeneration, or at least not a strong one, Bakugo was just able to kill it. Freeze him to death. Basically at first froze him in place, and then put his hand straight on him, and basically sent so much, he basically put his hand on the Nomu's face, basically over the mouth, and basically sent as much, liquid nitrogen as he could, basically freezing it from the inside. And then he was just able to break it. If it wasn't a Nomu, I would say that would be something a villain would do. But yeah, Bakugo knew it was just a monster, and basically just attacked to kill. Still, anyone who wouldn't have known that would have probably looked at Bakugo and thought, how the fuck can you be a fucking hero? But yeah. For Shoto, what happened with him was a bit different. The Nomu he had to face actually had an ice quirk. Basically a contrast to his original self, or to Bakugo, someone he hates. Well, not really hates, but doesn't like. So, basically, for him it was simple enough. The Nomu attack, he puts ice up, and the Nomu tries to defend. He uses his shadow or his light to basically go straight through it, or to basically try to go around it. So, after a small amount of time, basically the Nomu was trying to do ice walls or send ice to freeze Todoroki, with Todoroki basically sending lasers made of pure light to basically melt it, or shadows that were solid to break straight through it. He was able to make kind of like a blade of shadow and basically go straight through the Nomu, cutting him in half, and that was kind of it. During that time, Endeavor was doing the exact same thing as he was doing, and Deku was arriving towards, well, Ida. Sorry, the word really didn't want to come for some reason. So, basically, when he arrived close to Ida, Stain was just about to stab him in the arm. But because Deku arrived, something a bit different happened. Deku just came straight through and basically grabbed Ida, removing all of the kinetic energy from Ida so that for his body it basically didn't feel like it moved, basically saving him from breaking a few bones when Deku arrived. And yeah, quite easily Ida was just saved like that. Stain was surprised to see a kid move that fast though, and decided to attack Deku, which was the only thing that would actually allow Deku to attack him, making Stain basically be the single person to basically cause his own arrest. He attacked Deku, so Deku could fight back. And he did quite a bit. Basically, when the knife came to Deku and stabbed him through the arm, Deku was already was already going for a punch straight to Stain's face, increasing the amount of power in his fists to just enough to actually kill him, but not high enough to actually, just high enough to put him unconscious, actually a bit higher than that, but nowhere near enough to kill him. That's better. So, Deku basically didn't get in trouble. He did stop the villain, and he was told to do so by Endeavor. So, he has no problem with the law. He did what he was told. So, they can't really punish him for that. After all that, after all that, the flying Nomu that attacked Deku didn't really do that much damage. Like, he couldn't do anything to Deku, seriously. There was no chance of that. So, it was quite easy. Deku just basically killed it. And yeah. Later, we go to the hospital. Ida said that he was going to be covered by the police since he didn't really fight. Only Deku well, they're going to say that only Deku fought. So yeah. So after all of that, they go back to school. Everyone basically talk together and explain how their own agency went. After everyone finished talking, they basically looked at Deku and asked him if he truly fought against Stain, which he said yes. Everyone was amazed by that, because, well, you were able to fight against Stain the hero killer and you survived? That's not supposed to happen. And so they basically continued like that. When everything was kind of done, they were told about what they were going to do afterward. So they then go to, they pass everything just like in the anime, writing exam, Deku's not having any problem. Well, practically anyone in class doesn't have any problems. Now, hero versus students. That's something I had a bit of problem thinking of how I would do it. So, Deku and Bakugo are still going to be together against All Might. Actually, everyone is still going to be against the exact same heroes. Which means that the heroes will be demolished. Like, there's really no way to save them at that point. They're not going to get through that. So, we get to basically the fights. And quite easily, just because of how each quirk works, basically. Well, actually, since all of their quirks are actually extremely stronger and quite a lot better, all of the fight actually get won. Against Midnight, well, quite easily, Mineta basically made many clones to overwhelm her. She made her pheromones, and after that, Shiro kind of just tried to create something to counter it, which kind of worked. Which means that, yeah, no, she's not able to do anything against them. They pass. Against 13, it kind of goes the exact same way, actually, which is hilarious. Basically, everything in that fight happens the exact same. Todoroki and Momo against Aizawa is a lot faster. Mostly because they're able to actually put traps around, which allows them to completely overwhelm him and literally make it impossible for Aizawa to actually fight against them and win. So, yeah. In the end, they still win. And basically, just like for everyone else, they still win because, well, Tokoyami and Tsuyu against the Phantom guy. Tsuyu can just transform into different animals to help her, as well as basically combine 4 animals with her human form to basically make her extremely more powerful. While Tokoyami, with his light beast that he can make, basically was able to just fight against the phantoms quite easily. Actually, it was kind of a match. I have to pause, sorry. Sorry about that. Okay, so Deku and Bakugo versus All Might. Deku and Bakugo didn't even get scared when they heard that they were placed with All Might. All Might was the one that was a bit scared, actually. Because one of the two can literally nullify his quirk completely. He absorbs energy, shock, motion, and everything else. So, how do you freaking fight against that? You can't. So, the fight starts. All Might gets ready to go. Basically trying to pump himself up, saying, I'm going to be able to fight them. I can still do this. And then reels in for his first punch. When he throws it, all of that shockwave that in the anime basically hits Bakugo and Deku, and they just felt a lot of wind. In this one, All Might's quite a bit more powerful. Not for any reason that is impossible or improbable. He never fought the Nomu. He never lost that amount of power. So, he's more powerful. Problem is, Deku just told Bakugo to be behind him, and he basically absorbed all of the shock that got to them, all of the wind pressure, all of everything. And then Deku just said, I'm sending another one. Bakugo just asked, how much power will you put behind it? Deku just started thinking for a second, and just said, do you think twice the power should be enough? With Bakugo's jaw almost dropping to the ground, and asking, are you serious? We're talking about All Might. That's not going to be enough. Which, everyone who was able to actually hear that from the room, since they still have the mic in the ear to basically be heard, everyone in the room basically just said, true. Only person who didn't think that was actually Shoto, who thought, yeah, no, 2's not going to be enough, but do you really want to take a chance and not go all out? He didn't talk to them because, well, he couldn't. But he was thinking it. Actually, he said it all out, and everyone was like, yeah, true, why doesn't he go all out? Which, Deku actually will go kind of all out, but for a different thing. And it's not in this part, probably in the next. So, Deku basically reels in a punch, and puts as much wind pressure, momentum, and everything like that he wants to basically give it a pretty good power, and basically gave a punch that every cars and that were in the street between them and All Might basically flew straight towards All Might, scaring him quite a bit, because what the hell? Basically just seeing all of the cars flying towards him, as well as feeling the huge wave. He basically got pushed back a bit, and then Bakugo and Deku, for Bakugo and Deku basically told Bakugo to grab onto him. Bakugo did, basically doing a piggyback ride, and Deku just increasing his momentum to about half the speed of sound, basically absorbing all of the shock that Bakugo's body would take to allow him to basically not get killed by it. And then just bam, he started running. And he went fast. Bakugo felt the wind in his face. It wasn't as strong as what it could have been, and he knows that. And that scared him. Deku saw All Might approaching, and basically just decided that, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to do that. And suddenly just kind of stopped in front of All Might, while All Might basically just saw them coming. He was reeling in a punch to basically try to send it before Deku arrived. Deku arrived in front of him. He got scared a bit, and then the punch left. All Might got scared, and then bam, straight on Deku. Problem was, Deku didn't feel any of it. All of the shock, all of the momentum, everything was absorbed in Deku, as well as a part of energy that All Might basically was using, which basically what he absorbed was an extremely small part of the energy in One For All, not giving him One For All per se, and basically he didn't really absorb it from All Might. Well, he kind of did. And basically it's basically activated 24/7, and it's basically just kind of something in him that keeps giving him more strength. But basically it's just like a force feeding him energy constantly. So he can use it, but it's not as if he was using One For All per se. It's just the same type of energy just feeding into him constantly. He didn't know what the hell that was, but he knew one thing. He had to knock out All Might, or he had to go to the exit. In this one, Deku is a bit more confident. And it shows. sorry about that. But yeah, basically, he punched All Might with what he thought was enough force to basically punch down a truck. Well, what he thought would be enough to just kind of push him away without knocking him out. But he was taking in count All Might from his golden day, basically in his prime. So what he did was just knock out All Might outright, without even giving him a chance to do anything. So, yeah. All Might didn't really have a chance against Deku. Mostly with that. A huge amount of power. Coming straight from everything Deku is. So they won by literally knocking out the #1 hero. Which, weirdly, only the students were surprised. Many of the heroes and, teachers weren't that surprised. Which a student asked why, and then they literally just said it. All Might is old. Deku is young, and his quirk allowed him to take as much power as he wants from everything. In that punch, I'm sure he put all of the power that All Might used against him, and more, making him able to drop All Might himself. In reality, he went a lot further than that. He basically thought that what All Might did was a, weaker punch and was holding back, which in reality it was a 100% punch that he didn't actually have time to hold back from. Because the punch was literally in Deku's face when Deku stopped. So, All Might basically punched straight at Deku with, 100%. And yet, nothing really happened to Deku. So, in the end, basically everyone was kind of okay with it. And then we go to the forest training arc. Basically, I should say, you know what, I'm going to change script right now. I made a part for if I was actually putting the island, the movie, into this. And I think I'm actually going to change it for that. I'm going to split this one in two and do the island the movie instead. Actually, no. In the comment section, tell me if you want me to do the movie. I actually made a script for that. I just wasn't sure if I was actually going to do it. So if you want to, tell me that you want it. If you want me to go straight to the forest training arc, tell me, and in the next part I'm only going to do that. So, yeah. Hope you liked it. Leave a like if you did. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. Answer the question as well. So yeah, Natsu out.